Foley, Dale Talon back in a sold-out Great Western Forum. We go to extra time as the Oilers and the Kings are locked up at 3 after 60 minutes of play.
It's the 7th time these two teams have played an overtime game in the playoffs. Kings have a 4-2 edge in the 6 previous games, though they lost game 1 in overtime. This year, this is the 4th appearance in overtime for both these clubs. The Oilers are 1-2 and the Kings are 2-1.
33 shots for the Kings, 28 for the Oilers.
The Kings got most of those shots in the 3rd period. They had 13 of them, but they got about 10 shots in the last half of the period.
And here we go with OT as the draw is shot down into the Los Angeles zone. Robitaille couldn't get it past Simpson. Now Robitaille gets it back and sweeps it to center ice. Here's Dave Taylor in over the line. Taylor bumped into the corner by Lowe. Simpson then lost it. Here's a centering pass deflected away from Robitaille. Back into the Los Angeles zone. Messier hustling in after it, but Rudy out to play it to Robinson. Quickly out up ahead to Robitaille. He's taken off the puck. And then Taylor carries on. Gets it over the line. Here's Alec moving in. Alec around a check, and then he lost the handle. Todd Alec has had 6 shots on goal in this game. And slow to shoot at that time. Here's a chance for Gretzky. He's in, shoot off the side of the net. A diving poke check attempted by Lamb. He might have gotten a piece of that. And it's cleared to the near side, and the Oilers will gladly accept an icing call here. After their lives flashed in front of their faces, at least their playoff lives for this game, the great one. And his ex-teammate Grant Fuhr nearly to himself.
Todd Alec with an opportunity with 2 forwards in the defensive zone, misplaying the situation. Gretzky snuck in. Lamb dives headlong. I don't think he got a piece of it, but he forced Gretzky to rush a shot to shoot maybe before he had a decent angle.
So Gretzky thwarted here in the first minute of overtime, and now we'll have a face-off in the Oilers zone.
The Edmonton Oilers of old, when they won their first few Stanley Cups, used to blow teams away with offense. A different look to this team the last couple of years. They scored the same number of goals they gave up this year, and in the playoffs they outscored the opposition 28-27. So they stay close for most of the night and then let their experience and speed take over in the waning moments of games to win.
As a matter of fact, Dale, your point is amplified by the numbers. The Edmonton Oilers this year scored 272 goals. That's the lowest total they've ever had since they came into the National Hockey League. They had never scored fewer than 301 goals. This year, though, 272. Now here come the Kings. Kudelski is knocked down at the line. That might have been a knee-on-knee. Kudelski is shaken up, and the LA bench is furious. Tom Webster standing and screaming at Dennis Morrell. Bob Kudelski, as he cut from the boards, went knee-on-knee with an Oiler player, and he is hurt.
Greg Muni hit Sandstrom early in the first period. When Sandstrom let one rip, Muni, a very physical player in the Calgary series, usually a clean hitter. But Kudelski cut across in front of the line. Muni stood up, challenged him, and they went knee to knee, and Kudelski went down. That's the second player that Muni is injured tonight. Sandstrom has not returned. He went for observations, has a sprained knee. You know, Kudelski, who scored a goal, cuts across and knee to knee. Oh, that's a dangerous situation. And then he fell awkwardly on that knee that was hit by Muni. Like Muni might have stuck his leg out a bit to initiate the contact. But Muni's not that type of player. He's a physical defenseman, but usually takes the body in a legal fashion.
Didn't it look there that Kudelski, as he cut off the boards, was a little off balance himself, and it was his right leg that was extended as he tried to make a quick turn to avoid the hit. It appeared that he was leaning hard in his left, and the right leg was extended a bit. I'm not sure if we can get another look at it, but it didn't appear that Muni really went out of his way to stick the leg out and injure the man. Bob Kudelski getting some attention from the King trainer as he was grabbing his right knee a moment ago, and Dale mentioned the same fate befell Sandstrom earlier in the game. Ron Asseltine talking it over with Tom Webster here, and immediately the entire Los Angeles bench, players and coaches, leapt in unison and were just screaming toward the official.
Well, Kudelski, who's played center and played right wing tonight, filling in for Casper, and scored a goal. And has played extremely well. So another player, another key player out of their lineup. Sandstrom, we mentioned earlier, Casper did not even dress as he was dazed by a Graves hit in game 1. Didn't play the second half of that game with a concussion. Kudelski in a lot of pain being helped off the ice, and he has.
Well, he can't put any weight on that right leg at all, and he is really in some difficulty. The preliminary report on Sandstrom was a sprained knee, and we've had no further update. Let's take another look.
Kudelski has his head down, then cuts across, and Muni was already in that spread position. Kudelski had his one leg behind him trying to avoid it, and it was knee to knee. I don't think he could have called a penalty. It didn't look like Muni deliberately stuck his leg out. It looked like they were accidental type situation. And Muni hit Sandstrom with a clean, solid hit after Sandstrom followed through on a long slap shot attempt. First period, the first game, very chippy as far as the stick play. We've had a little stick work in this one, but we've had more physical body work than any time in game 1.
Here's Kevin Lowe. Flips it to the Los Angeles zone. Blake got it to Benning. He sends it up the far side. Gretzky was stopped at center, then carried on for a moment, but the rush broken up. And now the Oilers unable to clear it. Blake held it in. Now it's finally shot back to center ice. Rob Blake gave it away to Esa Tikkanen, and he was knocked down by Benning. Oilers now. Tikkanen faked a dump and tried to pass it to Messier, but Kings break it up. Here they come now over the line. Granato, a wrist shot, and he missed the net. Rebound controlled by the Oilers, and Esa Tikkanen gave it to Greg Muni, who shoots it in. Steve Duchesne cleared it ahead. Here come the Kings now. Mike Donnelly's long shot steered aside by Fuhr, coming to the near corner, cleared loose behind the net. Donnelly battling for it there. A couple of players jam up in the corner, then Donnelly got to it. Here's the wraparound, and a save. It lays in the crease, and an Edmonton man knocked down on top of the puck before Fuhr could get to it, as Mike Donnelly attempted to stuff in a wraparound and was denied by Fuhr.
And most times in an overtime situation, and in doubt, put it towards the crease. Anything can happen. Going off a skate, off the heel of the goaltender's stick. Fuhr was up against the post. Donnelly's wraparound attempt went wide of the net with Jones, Brad Jones, who's filled in and played a good game. Former Winnipeg player. He's had a couple of scoring chances. Had a great scoring chance in the second period and shot it wide on an empty net. Rebound attempt. Donnelly's wraparound attempt almost hits the skate and goes in. Jones, who played his collegiate hockey at the University of Michigan and started his pro career with the Winnipeg Jets. Buckner trying to explain to some of his players what to do and where to go in a situation like that.
McTavish and Ellick for the draw. Now over to the far corner goes Taylor. Dave Taylor poked it loose behind the net. Ellick centered one. It's deflected in the slot. Now controlled by the Kings. A shot. Big save by Fuhr on Ellick, who had a backhand chance, but Grant Fuhr keeps the game alive. And now Messier carries it to the line, and an Oiler player, Anderson, knocked down and went skidding in there out of control offside.
Grant Fuhr seems to enjoy this type of a situation. Very aggressive save. He stood there and just kicked at it. The puck squirted. There were 4 players. The puck got away. Messier tried to sneak by with it and went by McTavish. Ellick with the quick backhander, an aggressive kick save by Grant Fuhr, and he popped right back up and stood there and was hoping for another shot, it looked like. Ted Green with John Muckler and Ronnie Lowe. It's a very important game for Edmonton. Don't want to go down 2-0.
Ryan Benning chips it up the board to McIntyre. He lost it to Jelena. Back into the King zone goes McSorley. McSorley has Graves in hot pursuit, sends it around the boards. Jelena looking to keep it in there. Now gets help from Semenoff shooting, and he shot it just wide. I'm not sure if Rudy got a piece of that. Into the corner goes Graves. Graves put it to the deep slot. Here's McIver, a long wrist shot sailing wide. Coming into the corner, Jelena jams it loose in front. Hacked right through the slot area by Semenoff. Now on the far side, Graves. His pass hits the leg and winds up back at center ice. And then it shot up over the glass and into the crowd.
The Oilers, a tired hockey club with their 4th straight overtime game and 9th game of the playoffs, looking for young legs to contribute, and they get an excellent shift from Graves, Jelena, and Semenoff, who've been terrific. Shot by Semenoff, I think, just got a piece of the outside part of Rudy's left pad.
First 4 minutes of overtime, teams have taken turns hemming the opponent in their zone. There's Rob Blake. It's cleared to the Edmonton line. And Lowe pushes it back into King territory on the stick of Duchesne. Steve Duchesne to the right wing boards, and Granato has room over the line, cuts into the slot. Now the shot deflected up over top of the net, and behind the goal goes Robitaille, trying to dig it out to Gretzky. Centered one. A man too well covered in the crease. Now behind the net is Gretzky. Walks out in front. Gretzky on his backhand. Slipped it to Blake. Here's the shot. Oh, just over top of the net. Held in by the Kings. Duchesne side of the goal to Tonelli. John Tonelli against Klima. Puck taken away by the Oilers, and Tikkanen gave it away. Tonelli into the slot, shooting. And a save, rebound. Shot wide. Gretzky had a rebound chance and flipped it wide of the near post. Now Lamb looking to clear and did get it to center ice. And the Kings are back in offside, and another couple of very near misses, this time in the Oilers zone.
Tikkanen with a turnover in his own zone, tried to go up the boards in the back end, coughed it up to Granato and turned. Got the rebound opportunity for Gretzky. Looked like Gretzky might have shoveled a backhander wide on Fuhr. Quite a battle going on in behind the net. Tikkanen picks it up, flips it to the corner, picks it up, tries to go along the boards, but Granato picked it up, moved to the slot, let the wrist shot go. Fuhr kicked it to Gretzky, who hacked at it on the backhand, and he just missed the near post by inches. The fatigue factor, when you start to get tired, you start to make mental errors, and that's exactly what happened to Tikkanen in that last shift. Oilers need to get a better performance from Mark Messier. He's not had a great night.
The same was not true in game 1. He was outstanding, but here in game 2, exactly, Messier has not been much of a factor. Now Simpson, with the puck locked up in his uniform, gets a big bump at center ice for McSorley, and the whistle sounds.
McSorley is a player that I think relishes the physical play. He loves to get involved.
Has he ever turned into a pretty good defenseman after being a role player in Edmonton and mostly a winger? He was shifted back and forth from forward to defense for the first little while here in LA. Now playing exclusively on defense, and plays a lot, and generally speaking plays very well on the King blue line.
We used to have a saying in the locker room, don't hit that guy, he doesn't like it. It's not the case with Marty McSorley. You hit him, he likes it.
Here's Craig Simpson. He gave it to Steve Smith. He flips it in there. Robinson back. Larry Robinson sending it around the boards. Out to Robitaille at center. Robitaille hits the line. Robitaille trying to center it. Bouncing puck. Just missing McSorley and Ellick. And now the Oilers start back. Messier has Anderson behind him. Takes a look over the line. Slipped it to Anderson. A backhand to Rudy. The save, and he hangs on. And now some pushing and shoving in the corner. Anderson, after he let the shot go, grabbed by McSorley in a headlock. And the officials there quickly to separate him. And it looks as if we're going to have a penalty or two.
We talked about the fact that Messier and Anderson have really not had a good night, but they're so explosive, and any second, if you relax, they can hurt you. And Anderson with a good shot. Tough save for a goaltender. High backhand attempt by Anderson with a full head of steam on the off wing. And Rudy with a good reaction, who's had little work lately. McSorley and Anderson will get offsetting minor penalties at 5:57 of the overtime.
Trivia: what was the first coaching job that John Muckler ever had? He started
Providence. He coached in Providence, but I'm sure wasn't his first.
He started in 1959 as the head coach of the Long Island Ducks. How'd you like to do those games? And back come the Ducks.
Quack, quack.
Now the draw in the King zone. Here's a quick shot for the net. Rudy a diving poke check to get rid of it. And now on the near side, Blake pushed it to center. McIver nearly had it taken away there. Huddy able to feed Semenoff, bouncing it to the center ice area. And the Kings move back in. Donnelly nearly had it taken away. Now it is controlled by the Oilers. Cleared ahead. Gellner racing after it. He moves into the LA zone and was turned around along the board. Puck came loose in front of drive. Rudy saved the game on a chance from Huddy. Then it's cleared the other way. It'll be icing against Los Angeles, and Kelly Rudy answers the challenge put forth by Grant Fuhr.
A great save on Glenn Anderson on a backhand attempt. Charlie Huddy moved in from his defense position, and everyone keyed on the one side on Jelena. Nobody on the far side. Huddy moved into the deep slot. Puck came right out to him, and he let it rip on the fly, and Rudy challenged it and deflected away. Rudy's up against the right post. He moves to Huddy at the hash marks. Huddy using Jones as a screen, and great save by Kelly Rudy. That was labeled for the net. That would have hit the net and gone in.
Six and a half minutes have gone by here in overtime. 3-3 as Ellick and McTavish will not be more. Ellick is tossed out. So Tonelli, who did wonderfully well in face-offs in game one. Tonelli against McTavish. To the left of Rudy. And this face-off goes up over to the corner. McTavish pushed it behind the net. Robinson is there. 39-year-old Larry Robinson works his way to center. Now got her on a check, gets the line. Robinson flipped it in front just over the stick of Ellick, who shot it through to the near side. And now the Oilers try to start back. Deacon in, feeding Klima. Klima has the line, cutting in, shoot. Rudy stopped it. Rebound to the Kings. It's taken by Gretzky to Todd Ellick. Ellick up the left wing boards into the Edmonton zone. Flipped the shot to the net. Fuhr nearly gave a rebound to Tonelli, but managed to cover it before the LA man could get there. And now another bit of scuffling around the Edmonton goal.
John Tonelli's been involved from the opening whistle. He's been going at every Oiler player. Kevin Lowe, the latest one, as he tries to get into a shoving match with John Tonelli. Tonelli, no stranger to overtime play, scored some big goals for the New York Islanders in Stanley Cup playoff competition. Todd Ellick was at a strong game, lets a quick wrist shot go, almost surprised. Sure, Tonelli tries to go through the line to get to a potential rebound. Kevin Lowe stood him up and tied him up.
Still a lot of conversation going on out there. Tonelli in the middle of it. And finally, he's led away by Wayne Bonney. John Tonelli, after having 2 straight years of scoring 31 goals, slumped this season to 14. But has had a good playoff in which he's been a good contributor for this LA team. Not a lot of points showing up, but as we mentioned, he's been very good on faceoffs and had a strong game in game 1. Not as big a factor tonight in game 2. Finally they're able to cool everybody off, and we'll have a draw in the Edmonton zone.
The Kings with 2 overtime victory, or 2 overtime games in their first series. Beat the Canucks in game 2 in a must-win situation after losing game 1 here to Vancouver, and then the 3rd game of the series in Vancouver, the Canucks beat the Kings 2-1.
McTavish, and the draw is taken by the Oilers. Bokaboom sending it back to center ice. Rob Blake puts it in there. Robitaille lets it go to Benning, who's unable to keep it in. And now Steve Smith for Edmonton. And apparently this puck was knocked down with a stick above the shoulder. So the whistle sounds, and we'll have another face-off.
Brian Benning took a chance at the blue line with Messier almost poking it by him. If it gets by Benning, clear-cut breakaway for Messier. And they're saying that it was knocked down with a high stick by a Los Angeles player. Luc Robitaille's been hot. Scored the tire in the winner in game 1. Scored the tire tonight.
7 goals in 8 games in the playoffs so far this year. He's got a goal and an assist tonight. We've got a total of 10 points in 8 games, including 7 goals. Messier and Tonelli for this draw, which is taken by the Oilers and shot into the Edmonton bench. So after a couple of furious sequences in either zone here in the first few minutes of overtime, it's been a while since we've had any flow to the play.
Everyone making the conservative move. No one really wants to be victimized or make a bad play. Say the puck bouncing a lot, and you just want to be ultra conservative. Try to capitalize on a break.
Now the draw to Kevin Lowe. He hoists it to the Los Angeles line. And here comes Larry Robinson. He cleared it to the right wing boards. Granato over the line shooting him. Pure might have gotten a piece of that, taken by Muni to Simpson, whose pass deflects to center. The race is on. Messier gets there in over the line. His shot deflects wide. Simpson on the far board, overskating it, and got a big hit. And here come the Kings back. Here's Gretzky over the line, taking a look. Now tees it up, then centered one, and the pass deflects into the corner. And the Oilers, Greg Muni starts back for Edmonton. Muni bouncing it back into the Los Angeles zone, but he was well short of center, and this is going to be an icing call against the Oilers.
Larry Robinson having a good night. He and Duchesne have really paired up well together and have had good playoffs. They both were +7 coming into tonight's action. Duchesne has been very impressive, not only offensively, but best I've seen him play defensively. But it's got to help him having the experienced Robinson out there to give him a little outlet and a little help. Duchesne can trust Robinson. Obviously, he knows he has a wealth of experience and can play the game as well as anybody defensively. So Duchesne can afford to take some chances offensively.
Here's the draw. Greg McTavish has it. McTavish winding his way to center. He got knocked down there. And back come the Kings. Here's a Taylor shot that's blocked. Then another shot, and Fuhr kicked that aside as Taylor got his own rebound. Here's Ellick trying to center it. Bouncing back to the line. Blake a long drive. Didn't get through. McTavish stepped in the way. And now Taylor in the corner against McTavish. Dave Taylor works his way behind the net. 4 players scuffling. There it came loose to the deep slot. Blake there to keep it in. Now a long clip shot is blocked and corralled by the Oilers. Huddy flipped it to center. Semenoff was stopped there. Then Huddy carries on. Lets it go. Rudy the save. Ellie Rudy put it to the near side. It's held in by Smith. Smith a long shot. Deflecting over the glass into the crowd. Luc Robitaille there, Dale, broke his stick. And with the play in the defensive zone for the Kings, he came to the bench to, I guess, either get a stick or a player change. But it left the point man open for an anxious moment as far as the Kings were concerned.
Robitaille is a scorer, a sniper, not a defensive specialist by any means. But Charlie Huddy now with 2 good scoring chances, had probably the best chance of the overtime. A bit earlier in a deep slot, he cranked one right on Rudy. That one was an easier save, though a dangerous chance. The Kings trying to put pressure on the Oilers in the last shift, and it's been a tough night for Fuhr. And whacked in the face by Marty McSorley in this situation. That is face mask knocked off.
Here's the draw to Steve Smith. Put it to the far side, off the stick of Huddy and up over the glass into the crowd. And Huddy upset with that. He was ready to let one rip.
Might have taken his eye off the puck too soon, anticipating letting the shot go before he got possession, and the stick was angled poorly and it deflected into the seats. Charlie Huddy has been a real steady performer throughout the years for this Oilers organization. He's a free agent at the end of this year.
Now Huddy sends it in. Coming to the corner. Simpson or Semenoff poked it around the boards. It's taken there by Messier. And Donnelly then got it back for the Kings, clearing to center. Craig Simpson back in his own end. His pass nearly picked out of midair by Brad Jones. Then Jones got it behind the net. Centering pass. McIntyre couldn't find the handle. And now the Oilers start back. Here's a 2-on-2 as Messier crisscrosses with Anderson. Got it over the line. Anderson around a check in. Shoot. Shot it wide. Anderson walked around McSorley and then just missed the far post. And it's shot back into the Oilers zone, and Fuhr wanted to play it and now thinks again and covers.
Oh, what an electrifying play by Glenn Anderson. He and Messier with a 2-on-2, a crisscross pattern. Messier slipped it to Anderson as he started his cut in front of him, and then he pulled it back to his skates. McSorley went for the puck, missed it. Anderson went in and shot it wide, low to the glove side on Kelly Rudy. Glenn Anderson, who's had a terrific career, 7th in the all-time assist list in playoff competition in the league. He just surpassed the great John Beliveau in that category.
We're halfway through overtime number 1 here in the Great Western Forum. 41 shots so far for the Kings, 34 for the Oilers. Here's the draw taken by Robinson, a long shot. Fuhr kicks it over the glass into the crowd.
Larry Robinson with the aluminum shafted stick. Well, he's put some good muscle on some shots tonight. Well, a good wrist shot go in the third, and he's had 2 really good slap shots at Fuhr. One late in the third. Fuhr had to go as far as he could to his right with his legs to kick it away in the waning moments, and that one almost surprised Fuhr from quite a range.
McTavish and Tonelli had quite a duel going, and that entire time after the puck was dropped, they continue to yak back and forth. Now they get ready to square off to the right of Fuhr.
Tonelli doing a good job in that last face-off. Tonelli, his career, he's been a left winger, but that time, though, McTavish did a good job tying him up and kicking it to the defenseman.
And the Kings held it in, but with a hand pass, says Dennis Morrell, and the whistle sound.
You mentioned Granado looking to get some offense together here in this playoff situation, only with 1 goal in 8 games. Granado gloved it. Tried to glove it to himself, but couldn't quite handle it, and it went to a teammate.
Chicago area boy who went to the University of Wisconsin, Tony Granado. Had a fine year playing with Gretzky and Sandstrom, and a little bit offense has been slow in coming here in this postseason. Now Lowe sends it ahead, and another hand pass is called here. Well, in between the sporadic play, there have been, each team has had at least 3 or so great chances to win this game in extra time. And both Rudy and Fuhr have been spectacular in different situations.
Well, Glenn Anderson's had a couple of good chances. Huddy's had a couple. Alec, Granado, and Gretzky have had the good Oiler chances in the overtime, but both these players and teams must be very tired. They must be very hungry as well.
Now ready, here's the draw taken by McIver. He chips it in there deep, and Benning is back. Brian Benning to Marty McSorley, who's got room to center, and he'll shoot it in. Fuhr gloving it to Huddy. Charlie Huddy had his stick taken away, kicks it over to the far side. Good work by Tikkanen to prevent Gretzky from getting to that loose puck. And now the Oilers able to clear it to the center ice area. And the Kings dump it back in, but Gretzky, they say, was short of center, and another icing call coming up here. The early report on Bob Kudelski is a sprained medial collateral ligament. They're calling it a sprain for the moment, so both Kudelski and Sandstrom suffering similar injuries in this game on hits from Craig Muni. We've had 11 minutes go by here in overtime.
And the middle part of this overtime period really slowed up. A lot of face-offs, a lot of whistles. Neither team willing to make a commitment offensively. They're just trying to capitalize on chances. Kelly Rudy has made excellent saves here.
McIntyre and Graves for the draw. Puck came loose to the near side. Into the corner, Semenoff poked it behind the net. Taken now by Todd Ellick. And he flips it back to center ice. Norm McIver. It's cleared to center, and Larry Robinson able to get away from 2 forecheckers. Robinson starts the Kings back. Over the line to Ellick. Fires! Fuhr, the save, a rebound! Up over the stick of Taylor, who had an open net. Into the corner it goes. Robitaille couldn't get there. Here comes Jelena back. 3-on-3. Jelena coughed it up at center. And now Luc Robitaille flipped it to Ellick. Too far for Ellick, and taken away by the Oilers. And Graves tips it to center ice. Todd Ellick's shot was stopped, and the rebound was there for Dave Taylor, and just hopped over his stick as he tried to fire it to the open side.
Well, Larry Robinson with a great move in his own zone, then carried the puck up the ice and got it to Ellick.
Now the play in the LA zone. Anderson looks for Messier. Messier chips it around the boards. Klima behind the net, centered one, came to the line, and McIver held it in. Back behind the net, he shot it. And everybody battles along the boards there, and it's held for a whistle.
And Morel with a quick whistle. Normally in a regular type situation, Morel will let them try to play that puck and keep it going, but he'll do it quickly, realizing these players are very tired. Brian Benning has had a strong game. The most physical Brian Benning has been in most of the games that we've seen him play. But meanwhile, Todd Ellick lets it go. The puck was on edge. It dropped a bit. Fuhrer made the save with the left pad and went right to Dave Taylor, who will have nightmares tonight. He had an empty net, and the puck hopped over his stick. Dave Taylor has not missed very many times, over 1,000 points in his career. His best numbers when he was a member of the Triple Crown line with Charlie Simmer and Marcel Dion.
Seven minutes left to go in our first overtime. Face off to the left of Rudy. McIntyre and McTavish tossed out. O'Connelly comes in against Tikkanen. And the faceoff goes to the far side where Tonelli got it to McIntyre to Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky over the Edmonton line. Now he had it taken away by McTavish. Greg McTavish into the LA zone. McTavish put it to the far side, broken up by Robinson. Larry Robinson playing like a 20-year-old in this game. As it's gone on, he's gotten stronger and faster, it seems. Greg Muni around the boards for McTavish. Greg McTavish gave it to Tikkanen over the line. He's surrounded, then chipped one into the corner. McTavish after it. Greg McTavish grabbed by Gretzky, then it's taken away by Granato. Tony Granato into the Edmonton zone. He was stripped of it, and Messier starts back. Whiffs on a passing attempt to Klima. And now the Oilers have to dump it in.
Well, Mark Messier has a bad thumb. He's got bone spurs in his thumb, and see it affected him there as he tried the quick delivery.
Now Ellick with a shot right on. Fuhrer grabs it and hangs on.
And Todd Ellick is going to have to put his arms in the whirlpool after this game. Well, he's really been whipping the shot at Fuhrer at every opportunity. He had 6 shots in the regulation time, and he's had 2 or 3 here in the overtime. Ellick scored the first goal of the game 13 seconds into the first period. Ellick, who played 40 games for the Kings last year, scored 10 goals and had a good solid year this year. Kings trying to win their 5th game in a row, which would be a new club playoff record.
Here come the Oilers. Mark Messier. He'll dump it in, hoping for Anderson, but Rudy out to play it. Shot it to the far side. Got a funny hop off the glass, but Robinson now cleared it to center. That was Taylor rather than Ellick. Gets the line, but then peels back to the neutral zone. Now Rob Blake clearing to the neutral area, and Glenn Anderson back over the King line. Got it to Messier. Quick stop, taking a look. Messier pounded by Ellick on the boards. Messier got away from him. Kicked it up the far side, but broken up by Duchesne, and back come the Kings. Dave Taylor into the Edmonton zone with a long shot right to the midsection of Fuhrer, and he hangs on.
Well, Fuhrer very alert in the net. Some of these shots are quick and might surprise a goaltender, but Fuhrer is very ready for a lot of those long, quick shots by Ellick, and that one by Taylor. Dave Taylor, by right, should have finished this game off with an empty net rebound opportunity. The puck hopped over his stick. 45-34, the shots on goal now. Kings with 12 here in this overtime period. The Oilers have had 6.
Now they're ready in the Oilers zone. McTavish and McIntyre. Here's the draw. McSorley moves up the boards. Now tries to shoot him. McTavish blocked it. And back come the Oilers. And now on the far side, McIver to the corner, was stopped there. McTavish after it behind the net. McSorley got there first and ahead to McIntyre. John McIntyre stopped at the line. I think that was an offside play at center, though. McIntyre put himself offside by skating ahead of the checkered red line before the puck got to him.
Well, the puck slowed up along the boards, went on its side, and McIntyre was waiting for it to come, and now a rare shift for Jay Miller. I don't believe he's been back on the ice since 2:51 of the second period, where he took a double minor penalty. And Tom Webster trying to look for some fresh bodies, fresh legs.
And it's a short appearance for Miller as Gretzky, Tonelli, and Granato come back on the ice for the Kings. Graves between Semenoff and Jelena on for the Oilers. Here's the draw. Taken by McSorley. Takes a long wrist shot, steered aside by Fuhr, and Huddy works the boards. And it's held there long enough for a whistle. And a quick change by the Oilers as Tikkanen hops back over the boards after Gretzky had come on in the last change made by Webster.
Webster trying every move possible to keep him away from Tikkanen. The Oilers forced to change on the fly on many occasions. Gretzky with 4 goals and 8 assists to lead the Kings in scoring. Held off the score sheet. Robitaille has a goal and an assist tonight to pull within 2 points of Gretzky. You can see the drawn looks and faces of the players as the season has gone on, and playoff competition, and this extra overtime work has not helped.
Semenoff into the corner on Robinson, trying to center it. Winds up on the near side, and it's held in by Lowe. Now Graves battling in the corner, and a jam it loose. Graves walks in front, shoots. Rudy the save, and the rebound hopped away from Semenoff. And the Kings able to clear it to center. Oilers dump it back in. Larry Robinson has it. Clearing it out to center ice and dumped into Edmonton ice. Mark Messier, the Oiler captain, looking to wind it up here. Messier works his way back into the King zone. Now trying to flip it in front. Picked off by Duchesne. Steve Duchesne couldn't get it out. Messier put it to the deep slot. Held in there. Smith a shot deflected in front. Picked up by the Oilers. Smith has it again. Far point to Huddy. Here it comes. And it didn't get through to the net. It was blocked. Now Simpson trying to center. It's clear to the line. Huddy keeping it in. Fires it around the boards. Messier behind the net. Takes a look to the near point. Smith. He lets it go. That's blocked as well. Then Smith kept it in. Put it into the corner. Messier looks to center, it deflects, and then it's held in by Huddy. Sending it behind the net. Simpson has it there. Tied up along the board. Now dug out. Taken by Smith. Steve Smith. Shoot it into the corner. Messier well covered there. Now Anderson after it kicked it loose, but the Kings Taylor finally able to clear it. And a good part of that shift spent in Los Angeles territory, but no damage done.
Well, the Kings were unable to really keep anybody on their point men, enabling Huddy and Smith a lot of room and chances to get shots through, but they didn't get the shots through. And eventually the experience paid off as Dave Taylor was in the right place at the right time to clear the puck the length of the ice. And while McSorley and Messier continue their battle, started late in game 1 as they cross-checked each other at the end of a period, into period 2, and they've continued their stick work and aggressive play against each other. We mentioned these guys are friendly and have been friends before because they were teammates, but now when they step on the ice, put the blades on, no more friends. LA Kings trying to win their first ever second series in Stanley Cup playoffs in 16 years. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers have the best winning percentage in the history of the NHL in playoff hockey, winning 26 of 32 series that they've been in.
2:47 left in this overtime. McTavish trying to win a draw. Got it to the line. Kevin Lowe takes a long shot wide of the target. Held in by the Oilers for a moment. Now Gretzky has a stick held by Simpson or Tikkanen from behind. He's unable to get it out. Rudy tries the near side. Granato, or Tonelli rather, failed to clear it. Now Klima to the corner, put it in behind. McTavish had it hop away from him, and it's shot back into the Edmonton zone. Kevin Lowe to Craig McTavish. McTavish gains the line, dropped it to the far side. Tikkanen a shot. Rudy the save. Rebound. Klima. His shot goes wide. Held in by Tikkanen. The Oilers dominant here in the last couple of shifts. Benning. And there's going to be a penalty coming up. And, oh no, Dennis Morrell seemed to put his right arm up and then take it down. Here come the Kings. Here's a centering pass. It just failed to click as Granato went charging toward the net. Now into the corner, a big battle going on. It's held in by Duchesne, but his pass is stolen. And now Graves starts back. Beating Semenoff over the line. Got it back to Adam Graves. Graves, a long wrist shot. Rudy gave a rebound, but it's cleared back to the near side. Held in, though, by the Oilers. Into the corner goes Tikkanen. He took a bump there, and it's held on the far side. Was Dennis Morrell off balance? It seemed to me as if he shot his arm up into the air.
Well, the Oiler player was taken down going towards the net. It looked like Morrell was thinking about it anyway. If he didn't, he was thinking about it. Maybe you have mental telepathy, but drop pass from McTavish to Tikkanen. Tikkanen let it go. Rudy kicks it away. The rebound just missed. Then picked up by the explosive Peter Klima. You look for a player like Klima to excel in overtime when everyone else is tired. His shot just went wide and went crashing into the goaltender Rudy. Granato and the other player with a minute 21 remaining.
Now here's the draw. McIntyre beats Graves from the faceoff, and Robinson nearly had a fatal miscue in front of his own net. Here's Smith. Clearing it over the line. Jelena winds it around the board. Semenoff against Elliott. It's kicked loose to Robitaille. He chopped it to center ice. Here comes McSorley over the line. He's center one. A weak shot by Taylor is stopped by Fuhr, and he covers with 54 seconds left in OT number one.
At the end of the third period, it looked like the Oilers might not have any gas to play the overtime. The Kings really dominated them in the last 10 minutes of the period. Oilers had good chances early in the overtime, then the Kings had a few, and then the middle part of the overtime period very conservatively played. A lot of defensive safe play. Dump it in, dump it out, not trying to give the other team a chance to score. The Oilers are really coming on in the last 4 or 5 minutes of this overtime period, and this is their 4th straight overtime game.
Alec Robitaille and Brad Jones on for the Kings. Jones making his first appearance in this series. McTavish on for the draw in the Edmonton zone. And McTavish wins it to the corner. 4 players in there, and we'll do it again.
Well, he's going to have to win another one. And McTavish has been in his own zone most of the time, trying to win the important defensive faceoffs. McTavish, who has played 398 straight games, second behind only Kevin Lowe's 420 straight games, which is an Oiler record. McTavish had 6 shorthanded goals, and he had a great shorthanded opportunity earlier on in this game when he missed a breakaway.
Now the Oilers win another faceoff, and here comes Messier up the right side. He'll flip it in. McSorley back. Artie McSorley beating Todd Elliott. Now Luc Robitaille with half a minute to go in the first overtime. Jones looks for McSorley. Shoots! And a save by Fuhr. Rebound clear, not out. Robitaille kept it in. Now Lowe for Edmonton. To the far side, Anderson looking to clear. It's held by Robinson. Chopped it through to the near corner. 10 seconds left. And now the Oilers. Simpson. Got it to Anderson to Messier. He'll clear it, and we've now played 80 minutes, and still the verdict is up in the air. And now Robitaille and Simpson having words as the first extra session comes to an end, but they're separated quickly and no damage done. In overtime number 1, Los Angeles had 15 shots on goal. Their total is 48. Edmonton had 9 shots, and their total is 37. Obviously no scoring through the first overtime period. And we are through 80 minutes here in the Great Western Forum. And Bob Papa, we're not done yet.
Shots on goal in the first overtime for the Kings, 15 for a total of 48. For the Oilers.
All right, thank you very much, Pat Foley and Dale Talon. We're not done yet here in New York. We will be with you until this baby ends. And in case you're just tuning in, the St. Louis Blues even up their series with the Minnesota North Stars. They won it 5-2, it seems like days ago. When we come back, we'll get you caught up on the rest of the day's sports news as C.J. Papa steps in with Sports Nightly. All that after this time out. Bob Papa back at our New York studios. No, this is not the replay. We are getting ready for overtime number 2. The Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. And these two teams are tied up at 3 apiece. Well, there is now 12 games that have gone into overtime in the 1991 Stanley Cup playoffs. And this is the first one that's going to a second overtime. In the 1990 Stanley Cup playoffs, we had 2 games which went past 1 overtime. We take you back to April 14th. Remember Mike Krushelnyski's goal for the Los Angeles Kings, eliminating Calgary in round number 1. That was in the second overtime. It came at 3:14. It sent the defending Stanley Cup champions home. And then the triple overtime game. Game 1 of the finals last year, Edmonton's Peter Klima scores against the Boston Bruins at 15:13 of the third overtime on May 15th. And those are the multiple overtime games from 1990. We head to our second overtime of the 1991 Stanley Cup playoffs. Who will get the winning goal? Will the Edmonton Oilers find themselves in a third overtime? All those questions will be decided in the next couple of minutes. And standing by at the Great Western Forum, waiting to call the action with a couple of cups of coffee in their hands, Pat Foley and Dale Talon. Yep.
Well, we're still hanging in there, Bob, and the teams in overtime, there were times when it was very sporadic play in overtime, but neither team laid back. The goaltenders had to make 3 or 4 very difficult saves at either end.
Well, it started early. The Oilers had the early chances, and then the Kings came on and had a few chances. Then in the middle part of the period, they got conservative, played defensive frame of mind. And then as the period wore on, there were more and more chances. When you get tired, you make mistakes mentally. And I look for an explosive type player maybe to come through in a big way. They had some chances. I look for a Klima or a Tikkanen, or I look for a Granato or a Gretzky or somebody like that to break it open here early in this second overtime. But the Kings had the best chance. Todd Ellick, who's had a really strong performance, has had a goal, cranked it up from the top of the circle. Grant Fuhrer with a puck knuckling on edge, made the save with the left pad. Dave Taylor came in, had an empty net, and swatted at it and whiffed it. The puck hopped over his stick, and as the period wears on, the puck hops around more, and I look for some type of a bad break to decide the outcome of this game.
We have played 4 periods, and we're getting ready for a 5th. It's 3-3 in L.A. With Dale Talon, Pat Foley back in the Great Western Forum. 48 shots for the Kings, 37 for the Oilers. And we are going into the 5th period. After 80 minutes have not been enough to determine a winner. Todd Ellick scored the game's first goal to the 13-second mark. And Dale, you mentioned he's going to have to put his arms on ice. 10 shots on goal for Ellick so far in this hockey game to lead all shooters. Robitaille with 6 shots. And on the other side of the coin, 5 shots for Tikkanen, 6 for Peter Klima. Those are the top gunners so far in the hockey game for Edmonton. Ellick's goal at the 13-second mark was followed by Kevin Lowe scoring to tie it for Edmonton. Martin Jelena put the Oilers in front. Then Bob Kudelski scored with 20 seconds left in the first to make it a 2-2 game. Semenoff had the only goal of the second period for Edmonton, and Robitaille had the only goal of the third for Los Angeles. And here we go into the fifth period. Dave Taylor tied up behind the net. Now it's kicked loose to Robitaille. Robitaille harassed there by Charlie Huddy. They work into the corner, then Ellick dug it out, cuts for the net, centered one. Fuhr blocked the pass, and it's corralled by the Oilers. Anderson. When Anderson beating Messier, 3-on-3 to the line. He's forced to turn, and it's taken away by Ellick. Clearing it ahead, Robitaille rubbed off along the boards, and Messier takes it away. Now Craig Simpson shooting it in. Marty McSorley back. And he shot it to the Edmonton zone. Here's Lowe. Hammers it around the boards back to center. And the Kings flip it ahead. Kevin Lowe has it again and shoots it into the center ice area. They wrestle along the boards, and it squirts loose to Esa Tikkanen. Now Muni gave it to Klima. Peter Klima nearly had it taken away. Now he gets it back. Klima comes motoring to the line. His wrist shot is blocked into the corner. McTavish after it there. Greg McTavish had the clamps put on him by Blake, and now the Kings start back. Here comes Granato. Back pass to Benning over the line. Brian Benning into the corner, shot it around the board. Esa Tikkanen starts the Oilers the other way. Now cranks a long one from center, sailing wide of the net. Brad Jones unable to clear it. Huddy flipped it to the goal mouth. Oh, it deflected inches wide of the near post, and Rob Blake gathers it in for LA. Gave it to Jones, who kicks it nicely to the stick. Steps in over the line, comes flying around Smith. And Jones finally caught by Smith, who ties him up to the corner. And the puck came loose to the Oilers, and they clear it to center. Jelena flipped it ahead. Now it's kicked right back to Jelena, who got it to the corner. Semenoff, center one, it deflects to the line. Here's Muni centering. A man knocked down. Big scramble in front of the net. It lays there in the slot. Here's a shot off the goal post. Semenoff had a game winner that was an inch away from going in. And now the puck cleared back into the Oilers zone. And yet another near miss in extra time. Both teams have had a handful of close calls. And here's an offside call made against Los Angeles.
Well, Semenoff has really had a great game. Goal and an assist. He's been very good defensively as well. Very nearly put it in. Muni shot faked. Slipped across. Graves was tackled from behind by McIntyre. Kicked at. I should say Jelena was tackled. Graves went after it. Semenoff came in, beat Rudy, and hit the post, and it came out the other side. Rudy gets a break. The Oilers, I should say the Kings hit a goal post late in the second period. And Semenoff with the wrist shot beat Rudy, but with the tough luck of hitting the goal post and not having it deflect in.
Larry Robinson, a long drive, sticked away by Fuhr. And Messier rolled it to center. Ellick sending it back in, and Fuhr will take no chances with this one.
Well, Grant Fuhr probably in the best shape of his life. He's ever worked out as much in the weight room and on the bike, etc. Other than just playing goal throughout most of his career. He played over 100 games in one season, holds the record for most games played in the regular season, and in that year he played 22 playoff games and won 16. He and Ranford both have 16 wins in playoff competition, which is a record in the league.
Now Robinson holding it in, tees it up, and his shot didn't get through. He has another one, and that's blocked by McTavish. Robinson trying a third time, now puts one into the corner. Alec leaves it there. Huddy takes it away to Messier. Mark Messier to Craig McTavish. He's wrapped up at center. Then Anderson poked it loose to Messier. Back to Anderson. Cutting in, and a good play by Duchesne as Anderson was racing toward the slot. And Duchesne prevented him from getting there with the puck. Here comes Duchesne the other way. This pass deflected away from Robitaille. Now Luke Robitaille got to it on the far side and got it to Gretzky over the line. He lost the handle. Now got it back, beating Granato, and he's sent flying. Craig Muni sticks that hip out again. He sent several people flying in this game. And the Oilers, Tikkanen gave it to Klima on right wing. Peter Klima put it to the feet of McTavish, then carried on by Charlie Huddy. Now cleared back to center, and John Tonelli for Los Angeles. Steps over the line, then headed poke check back to center. Tonelli back into the offensive zone around a check. He tries to barrel for the net. Smith put the clamps on him and prevented him from getting there. And now McTavish able to clear it to center ice, where Huddy puts McTavish to the line, but he couldn't hold the pass. Now steals it from McSorley. McTavish feathered one to Teagan and centered it. Tipped. They score! The Oilers have won. Peter Klima tipped it in. A giveaway in the Los Angeles zone, and Peter Klima tips in the game winner. Early in the second overtime, Edmonton has tied the series. One game each with a 4-3 win.
Well, McTavish carried the puck in, lost possession to McSorley. McSorley went to fire it out of the zone. McTavish picked it out of midair, turned to the backhand just inside the line, gave it to Tikkanen coming late. Tikkanen saw Klima streaking for the net, put it ahead of him. Klima caught up with it, one hand on the stick, and a neat deflection past the Kings goaltender Kelly Rudy to tie the series. The goal coming at 4:48 of overtime number 2.
Peter Klima's third goal of the playoffs. Esa Tikkanen and Craig McTavish get the assist at 4:48 of the second overtime. And the Oilers have accomplished what they set out to do coming in here, which was to at least steal one game and capture home ice advantage, and they've been successful in doing it.
Amazingly, they find a way to win. 4 straight overtime games for the Edmonton Oilers. It's a tough 7-game series against Calgary. Came in, forced game 1 into overtime. And the pass from Huddy. McTavish can't pick it up. McSorley's clearing attempt, swatted down. McTavish peels off. The late guy comes in. Tikkanen sees Klima in front. Klima with fully outstretched. The backhand deflection past Rudy. And a great play to even the series for the Edmonton Oilers. Peter Klima, an explosive player. As the game wore on, he's the type of player you look to get the winning goal, and he comes through in a big way.
A 40-goal regular season was Peter Klima's career high. This one, his third of the playoffs, might have made him the most happy. The Edmonton Oilers have tied this series at a game apiece, and we'll be back here in a moment. Edmonton wins it 4-3.
My feet are so sweaty and smelly.
Here's why. Your feet have more sweat glands than any other part of your body. They need super drying Odor Eaters foot powder. Look, you'd need 25 cans of talc to match the drying strength of just one Odor Eaters powder. It can absorb 25 times more wetness.
Wow, it even keeps my feet dry. And no more smell.
Odor Eaters foot powder from the makers of Odor Eaters insoles with the world's most powerful odor destroyer.
When it's heartburn.
Plus gas.
Get new Tom's Plus. Calcium-rich antacid relief plus gas-busting Simethicone.
No other antacid gives you that.
New Tom's Plus.
How about a better hand soap?
Not us, we can't cope. We don't need no lava soap, no.
Regular soap won't always work, but lava with pumice will. Interested?
No, no, no.
Lava, but don't try to cope without it soap.
This is where it happened. The breakthrough in urethane chemistry that created a car polish so technologically advanced, one application lasts an entire year. Introducing Finish 2001, the car polish you use only once every 12 months. This old car's been badly neglected. Its finish appears destroyed. With no rubbing, no buffing, Finish 2001 with its urethane formula safely brings back the showroom shine, a rich, deep gloss shine that lasts an entire year. We tested Finish 2001 against other leading polishes, even some that claim to protect your car against fire. or against acid. And the test results? Nothing, but nothing protects or shines better than Finish 2001. The 12-month car polish with a 100% money-back guarantee.
Finish 2001 is available at these fine stores.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers have done what they set out to do, which is get a game on their side here in Los Angeles. It's an even series now, with the Oilers regaining, or actually gaining, home ice advantage as they beat the Los Angeles Kings 4-3 in double overtime. And the game winner comes as a result of some pretty good hand-eye coordination shown by Craig McTavish, who had the puck on his stick for a moment, lost it, and then recaptured as McSorley was unable to get it by him.
Well, McSorley tried to clear the puck. McTavish, after losing it to McSorley, swats it out of midair, fakes like he's going to go to the corner, peels off, dumps it to the late-coming Tikkanen. Tikkanen sees Klima wide open. Klima goes to the front of the net, reaches fully extended with the stick, the backhand deflection, and that evens the series. Peter Klima with a very big goal, scored a magnificent goal in Game 1, and he's getting hot for the Oilers and need his offense.
This should not be surprising, but we have a series that's shaping up to be an awfully good one. The first two games have been filled with a lot of thrills.
Well, the Oilers, amazingly, they just find ways of winning. Their experience really coming through. With 10 minutes to go in the third period, it looked like Los Angeles was really dominating and looked like they were going to take control. You felt that they might come out in the overtime and really dominate, but that wasn't the case. They got through the first overtime, and then early in the second overtime, you look for the explosive player, the offensive players, Tikkanen, Klima, those types of people, and those are the guys that came through for the Oilers in a big way.
Well, a thrilling game capped off by Peter Klima's nifty deflection, and the Edmonton Oilers have gotten even in the series, and Game 3 will be on Monday night in the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. And somebody back there in New York, nudge Bob Papa, make sure he's still awake, and we'll throw it back to the New York studios. 4-3, the Oilers win it in double OT.
All right, a job well done, Pat.